Welcome to hot Arlington, Texas. Interleague play, the Rockies taking on the Rangers. Just the third game the Rockies have played against the junior circuit this year. And the same thing for the Rangers. They just got done playing a two-game set at Chavez Ravine. They lost both against the Dodgers. The Rockies come in 2 games south of 500, 33-35. The Rangers are reeling. They're 18 games back in the American League West, and they have lost 6 consecutive games. They did have yesterday off. DJ LeMahieu getting ready to go offensively for the Rockies. Charlie Blackmon in front of him naturally will bat second. Here's the rest of the Southwest batting order tonight for Buddy Black. They load up on right-handed bats because the Rockies are seeing a young 23-year-old left-hander in Yohander Mendez. So Nolan will bat third. Trevor right behind him. Ian Desmond will slide up to the 5th spot. Tom Murphy's catching. He'll bat 6th. Remember, the DH is in play. It'll be Parra and then Chris Iannetta as the DH tonight, and Noel Cuevas. Well, the Rockies are seeing Mendez, who was up briefly earlier in the year for 1 appearance, and he's been pitching down in Round Rock. He has an ERA above 5 down in Round Rock. This is his first big league start. He's been up and down a couple of times over the last couple of years.
Yeah, he's made 10 appearances, but all of those out of the bullpen in 16 innings. He's given up 19 hits in those 10 appearances, 5 walks, 7 strikeouts. Down in Round Rock, as you said, Drew, with that 5.26 ERA, he's 0-6. So a guy that the Rockies have no idea really what they're going to see tonight. So I think it goes back to what Billy and I were talking about a couple days ago in Philadelphia. When you haven't faced somebody, think about just going up there and seeing the baseball and trying to hit it. I think that's the game plan you got to have against Mendez tonight.
Decent fastball, but he has worked up in that zone.
I think he's going to have a little bit of nerves, too, making his first start. So see how wild he's going to be early on.
For Buddy Black on the top step of the dugout. And here we go. The Rockies and Rangers, first of 3 here in Arlington. And the first pitch is outside, ball 1. Bill Miller's the crew chief. Bill's calling balls and strikes tonight. Todd Tishner at first, Alan Porter at second, and the veteran Angel Hernandez is at third base. And that's outside.
That's what I'm saying. I think if you're DJ, you might want to wait and take a strike, see if he throws you one. Even if he throws you one, it's 2-1, so what? But I wouldn't want to get overly aggressive right now.
And DJ, as you suggested, taking a strike, so Jeff Houston putting his batting gloves back on. Flashing back for a moment.
Just for a second. It just all kind of came rushing back.
2-1. And DJ hits this ball in the air down the right field line, and Shin-Soo Choo makes the catch, 1 out. Let's take a look at the defense for the Rangers tonight. They have been a very poor defensive team, but that man, Delino DeShields, you played with his dad, is a very good center fielder. Gallo, not so much. Chu, not so much on the corners. Beltre has been a wizard most of his career, but Adrian's now 39. Jurickson Profar has made a slew of errors at shortstop in the absence of Elvis Andrus, who won't be back till Monday. He's coming back from an injury. So again, this club ranks last in baseball in many defensive categories, including number of errors.
Yeah, 58 errors on the season, a .978 fielding percentage. That's the worst in all of baseball.
Charlie fouls that pitch off. 2 strikes on Charlie. He's always been a good interleague player. .323 against the American League, which is 6th best among active players. .429 with 3 home runs lifetime against the Rangers. Did Charlie hold up? Yes, he did. Very subtle.
It was subtle.
Very, very subtle. Just the 2 hands off the knees from Angel Hernandez. Here's your best in interleague play by average.
That was an impressive list of players. Jose Abreu, Mookie Betts, Pedroia, Altuve, and Trout.
And you see all American League players. And the American League has dominated the National League historically. That misses. Good eye.
Yeah, just
That's 3-2.
sliver off the Subaru strike zone.
You always said this with the young pitcher, and you were alluding to it. It's a fact-finding mission for
Yes.
those first few guys, and they'll pass along information. And that is ball 4. And both of those pitches, borderline pitches. And we also do a little fact-finding mission on what kind of zone Bill Miller will have tonight, because I don't recall the Rockies, at least recently, having Bill behind the plate.
I can't think of it this year for sure. But you're right, Drew. Sometimes, too, it's a fact-finding for the umpire when he's trying to figure out a guy that he's never seen before. It used to be, though, back in the day, they would make that rookie guy have to throw right down the middle.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they'd call it a ball just to see what his reaction would be. I'm not saying that's fair or right. I'm just telling you the truth of the matter.
Well, I can tell you that is not right. A strike is a strike, whether it's thrown by...
I agree, but I'm just telling you.
Max Scherzer or this young man.
Conversely, the hitters, if you're a rookie hitter, they big zone, and then they would see how you'd react. So it worked both ways.
1-0 on Nolan. Trying to snap an 0 for 18.
A day off yesterday. I think that was really a well-placed day off for Nolan.
There's a strike. Rockies fell in the finale in Philadelphia yesterday. And Nolan did have the day off. 9-3 was the final. The Rockies were out hit 13-3. One out, Charlie at first. And that's in there for a strike. 2-2.
Yeah, 2 of the 4 pitches that Mendez has thrown to Nolan have been breaking pitches. Both 83 miles an hour.
Mendez trying to freeze Charlie. And that's strike 3. That's right at the bottom of the zone. I was surprised in that sequence that Nolan did not call timeout.
Step out, right.
We were getting antsy watching it.
I know.
And we're not holding the bat.
Nope. But you could just feel that anxiousness, though. Okay, the guy hasn't thrown home. He needs to do it.
Well, there's a whole lot of Trevor Story jerseys in the house tonight at Globe Life. Kid from Irving, Texas has made good. Made really good.
Really good. These homecomings are fun. And so for Trevor right now, For the Win is brought to you by Pizza Ranch and Welcome Home. You said, Drew, just down the road, Irving, Texas, first career game. Last time Rockies were here was 2016. Trevor was on the DL. So he experienced a little bit, but this is different tonight.
And Trevor hits one in the air, left center field. Playable out there for Gallo. He's battling the sun. He'll make the catch. And the Rockies will leave Blackman aboard in a relatively quiet first inning. hometown of Lubbock at Texas Tech, and you see the numbers overall, but the numbers out on the road are outstanding.
Yeah, out on the road this year, 4-1 with a 2.03 road ERA, just 10 earned runs in 44 and a third innings pitched. That's fourth best in the major leagues, third best in the National League. Do we know about all the pitches for Chad as far as the fastball, changeup? But I think one thing he's got to mix in tonight is a few more off-speed pitches first pitch, because the Rangers are very aggressive on that first pitch when they're coming out of the dugout.
Fouled off by Shin Soo Choo, the veteran right fielder. Start to try to figure out who their all-star representative will be. It could be this man, Choo. Bounces this one fair, grabbed by Desmond, one out. It'd be a good story because Choo has never been an all-star, despite having a very nice career in the big leagues. Here's a Southwest board batting order for Jeff Bannister tonight. Delino DeShields, Yerksin Profar, then Adrian Beltre. He's been hurt quite a bit this year with a hamstring situation, but when he's been in there, he's been outstanding. In a big series back in Los Angeles, old stomping grounds. He went 5 for 7 there. Ruknet Odor, Isaiah Kiner, Falefa, Joey Gallo, Ronald Guzman, and Carlos Perez, 1 through 9. There's Jeff Bannister. He's in his 4th year. He was the manager of the year in the American League back in 2015. He's already won a couple of division titles. Good curveball.
Well, they won 95 games a couple years ago to the Rangers, went to the World Series. I mean, a lot of things for the Rangers have been pretty good under Bannister. This year's been a different story. It was 27 and 43.
Good pitch. No swing. That was a good pitch.
It was.
He didn't swing,
okay.
and I agree with that, but that was still a really good pitch.
Right, and you're going to get more swings tonight off of that pitch than you're not going to get swings. Just the action on that changeup.
Inside at 91, Delino DeShields now has worked the count full, 3-2.
This is one guy you do want to keep off the bases. He has 12 of their 34 stolen bases.
Pops could run and just walked him. So with one out, DeShields will go down to first. Let's take a look at the Rockies defensively. Parra, Blackman, and Cuevas in the outfield. Ian Desmond 2 years ago when the Rangers won 95 games in a division title in the American League West. Desmond was one of the focal points of that team. He was an all-star, and he and Beltre were the leaders in that clubhouse. Ian really enjoyed his 1 year down here in Texas. Tom Murphy for the 2nd time, actually the 3rd time, let me say that, getting the start behind the plate. The 3 out of 4 since he was called back to the big league. Strike one. Profar. 6 home runs, 35 driven in for Profar.
Profar had battled some injuries for a few years. Didn't play much at all.
Top of the zone. 0-2.
That's the top of the Subaru strike zone. Wasn't sure if he was going to get this call because Tom hopped up kind of immediately, but he has to with the left-handed hitter, and you got DeShields at first.
One ball, 2 strikes on Profar. A lot of strikeout in this lineup.
They lead the major leagues in strikeouts as a club.
And they're hitting just .229, which is 27th in baseball. That's blocked, and now Murphy has a chance to throw him out. He moved up on the dirt ball to DeShields. Throw was a little bit toward the shortstop side of the bag. Second base side of the bag,
out.
you're probably going to get him.
Yeah.
It goes a wild pitch.
Well, and Tom blocks it, and it doesn't get far away, but it doesn't take much for a guy like DeShields and his speed. It was still pretty close there, but Trevor, as you witness on that shot there, he had to reach across his body to make that tag.
Breaking ball left up, and this is swatted to the second deck and right. 2-run home run for Profar, and it's 2-0 Texas.
That's been a little bit of an issue for Chad the last 3 starts. Gave up 3 home runs against Arizona, 2 home runs to start before against the Dodgers, and then 1 against San Francisco. They slowed down on the Subaru Supermo, and this is just a pitch that's belt high at 1-2.
And it's easy to lift.
It really is. And if there's any place in this ballpark that the ball there's kind of a jet stream, it's right, center, and right.
There's Beltre, and he takes a strike on the outside corner. So a misplaced breaking ball, and it's 2-0 Texas. And this is going to go as a hit. Beltre is now 9 for his last 11 at the plate. And when you're going well, I guess.
Yeah, it's just fortunate for Beltre, unfortunate for Chad. This is a check swing. You couldn't have placed it out there any better. Say, I just want to roll one to third base to see how it rolls. I'll just throw it over there, and that's what Beltre did.
One out, 2 runs in. Beltre at first. Rubden Odor is at the plate. And that's strike 1 on Odor.
I know the players kind of get tired of hearing about this, as pitchers in particular, but you've allowed 56 first inning runs, 4th most in all of baseball. Playing uphill.
And quite a bit lately. And those 2 gentlemen have talked a whole lot about that.
Yeah, they have. You know, how do they change up the plan? What do they do before they go out there? You know, every rock has been uncovered trying to figure out how they can get past it. But then it comes down, then it just comes down to execution.
Yeah, and Chad's as stand-up a guy as there is, and he'll tell you after the game he made a bad pitch to Profar. Not every bad pitch ends up 400 feet away, but that one, you know, was sitting in the middle of the plate and above the belt. Odor's a guy with tremendous pop for not a big guy. 33 home runs a couple of years ago, 30 home runs last year. But this year, just 1 home run. Three and 2. The ball came off the bat, by the way, of Profar at 107 miles an hour, traveled 426 feet. 3-2, and that's ball 4. So that's a second walk allowed in the inning. Another 2 on. And Isaiah Kiner-Falefa coming up.
And the first trip tonight for Steve Foster.
Well, Chad was on a roll in a good portion of May. The last few starts, he has scuffled a little bit. Yes, it's not been a clean start, obviously, this evening. Fans, join in on the conversation tonight and every night. Send us your thoughts, comments, photos on Twitter. Include the hashtag Toyota Talk and you're in business.
Chad just double checking to make sure who he had on a comebacker. This time it looked like he was pointing to DJ.
Falefa, rookie, and he hits that off the end of the bat. 1-1. You know who was in the original lineup today? Nomar Mazara, but he was scratched. He's got a wrist injury that evidently has been bothering him and flared up enough earlier today that he's not available. Big power hitting outfielder.
Well, that's how Falefa then was inserted.
Two balls, two strikes. Falefa, a native of Hawaii.
He has a sister, plays volleyball for UNLV.
And that ball is lined to left, and that's going to bring home a run. Beltre will score easily. Parra's throw headed toward third, and they're going to get Odor. Parra just had to wait for his cutoff man, that's the third baseman Arenado, to reposition to third.
Yeah.
Trevor was headed in that direction.
Backup slider. Falefa pulls to left field. So Nolan had been back saying, oh, I'll be the cutoff man, and then readjusted when he saw where Gerardo was throwing the baseball. That was smart from Gerardo. Even though he bobbled it, he wasn't going to be able to get Beltre at home. But Odor runs into the tag at third.
So here's Joey Gallo, leads the club in home runs with 17, and he hits this ball to deep center field, and this one's gone. Wow. It is a 5-run first inning for Texas. Not the return Chad Bettis was envisioning.
First pitch home run. Subaru Supermo. Those breaking pitches tonight. He had the curveball that was taken out for a home run. That's a slider that's taken out for a home run. And then the base hit just a moment ago from Falefa was a slider.
Here's the first baseman, Ronald Guzman. Guzman hits two-hopper to second. DJ will throw him out. In the inning, 5 runs, including 2 home runs. 2-run shot from Profar, 2-run shot from Gallo. 2018 Toyota Tundra in your hometown Toyota stores. By UC Health, live extraordinary. And by Southwest Airlines, low fares, no hidden fees, that's transparency. Rangers up 5-0 after one inning. So the Rockies will try to climb back in. Ian Desmond will lead it off in the second against the 23-year-old rookie Yohander Mendez.
Yohander out of Venezuela. Looks like right now, at least in the first 15, 17, 19 pitches that he's thrown, that he feels like the slider is the only pitch he can get over constantly for a strike.
This ball's hit a ton to left, and this one's going to get out. Welcome back to Texas, Ian Desmond. Make it 5-1, 13th home run for Desi.
I was just talking about the only pitch that he had confidence in throwing for a strike was the slider. He threw another one, and this time Desi made him pay. Nice to see from Ian Desmond on the Subaru Supermo. Boy, that's a great looking swing. Got the lift on that baseball, and as soon as it was hit, Gallo in left field took a couple steps, said that's enough.
Well, all three home runs, the respective outfielders, the first one was in right, where Cuevas was. He took one step. The ball went to the second deck. And even the ball Gallo hit the center field, Charlie took about a step or two and said, I have no play there. And the same thing a moment ago with Joey Gallo. Desmond hit it deep into the seats. It's a hot night. You played here in Texas. The ball will fly, and particularly in this ballpark.
And they've got a pitching staff here in Texas that's not real good.
Nope, that's a line drive to right center field. That'll drop in front of Delino DeShields, and it's a base hit for Tom Murphy. So 10 road home runs now for Desmond, 11 for Charlie Blackmon. Well, so important after the disappointment of the bottom of the first to have a response.
Yes.
And the Rockies in the midst of doing just that. Here's Gerardo Parra.
Well, and at least too, where you didn't have one of those 1, 2, 3 quick half innings. I think that was the other thing. Now you've at least got one, but you hope to add a couple more. At least you get a little feel good back in your dugout.
Yeah. Parra had a nice series in Philadelphia, 4 out of 9. 3 ribbies. He also was on base a couple other times with a walk and was hit by a pitch. He's batting .342 since May 17.
317 out on the road. I mean, a lot of good things for Gerardo.
366 in the month of June. One. Took something off. Mendez with a 1-2 count. He went fastball there, and it was covered.
Feel like he's got one of those fastballs that could just blow it by you. Just kind of watching the guys.
He's got a little bit of run to it when it's down in the zone, but he has typically not gotten it down frequently enough. He had a 5+ ERA in the PCL. This is slowly hit to first, and pretty good play by Guzman on the move, getting into Profar to get the force. One out, and that'll bring up Chris Iannetta.
Yeah, well, that was really his only option, because if he tries to go back to first, he's not going to beat Gerardo. There's nobody that's going to be able to get there, so he got fortunate to be able to make that play and make an easy throw to Profar. Kind of hangs around the back. Nothing wrong with that slide by Tom.
Iannetta catches, or excuse me, well, Iannetta hits. Murphy will catch his breath and get his gear on. For a National League player, when they're asked to DH, and we were talking to Chris about this around the cage today, it's always somewhat of a new experience. Some guys will ride the bike, take some extra swings in between innings, do something other than just sit and wait for your next at bat.
It's really hard to do. I've done it a few times in my career. You just don't know what to do. You know, what's my plan? You think back to the really good DHs. I mean, they had their routine. Remember when G was here? Giambi.
Sure.
He knew what he was doing because he had done it so many times in his career.
Well, you played with the best ever, Edgar Martinez.
Yeah, Edgar. Harold Baines. Bainesy was another one that just DH'd a lot the last 10, 12 years of his career. But they would watch for a little bit. Maybe that next inning they would stay in the dugout, but then if they felt like their bat was coming the following inning, that's when they would go in the clubhouse, ride the bike, maybe take some swings off the tee.
Carlos Perez got a good arm, not afraid to throw. I don't think anybody quite throws like the Hall of Famer Pudge.
Well, there's still a special assistant here.
Your old teammate. It's in there for a strike. It's 2-2. You know, the Rockies got a little bit of a scouting report on Mendez from Herman Marcus. They grew up together in Valencia in Venezuela. Three and two. Rockies have Noel Cuevas on deck. Cuevas hitting ninth. And this ball's in the air to deep left field. Gallo going back on the track, and he makes the catch. Parr was standing on second base. He'll go back.
Didn't quite sound like he got it, but the way Gallo was going back for this ball, you weren't sure. Oh, off the end. That's why. Chris knows it too. You see the reaction on his face? He's like, man, I just missed this one.
Also gives you an idea how strong Chris Iannetta is. He missed it, and he still hit it to the wall and left. Cuevas getting the start against the lefty, as he typically does. He typically responds with a hit or two when he's in there against a left-hander.
Yeah, 13th start in right field tonight for Noel.
And this is sliced to center field. That'll be a base hit. Parra moves up 90 feet. And now you have two aboard for LeMahieu.
He just keeps doing it, doesn't he?
He finds a way.
He finds a way.
Fans, when the Rockies score 7 runs or more in any game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6 to receive your Rockies taco special. Live Mas at Taco Bell. DJ popped up to right, leading off the ball game.
every miss with the fastball is to the arm side. Everything, he's leaving it behind on his arm. I haven't seen him come glove side yet with the fastball, where it's truly inside to a right-handed hitter where he meant to do it.
1-0, good swing on a 93-mile-an-hour fastball down and in. That's one where DJ opened up early and he was looking to pull that thing. Well, when he's behind, he really becomes a two-pitch guy. Fastball, slider. Takes the changeup out of the equation. Every once in a while, he'll open a count with a changeup, but the young kid still trying to find his way. And it's 2-1.
This was the count DJ was at in his first at bat. On the 2-1, he got a slider. They follow the same pattern.
Hard second, Cuevas at first, and this ball is ripped to deep left field. Stay fair, and it's gone. It is a foul ball.
Well, they followed the same pattern. They went off speed. DJ being with a couple, 3 or 4 feet from hitting that one out.
Two and two. And this ball is ripped fair to left field. Parra around third. He's coming home. And he'll score. It is now a 5-2 game. LeMahieu with his 22nd RBI. Boy, he can hit foul line to foul line.
Just a couple hits in the Philadelphia series, so you knew he was going to make somebody pay. That slider, he rips on one hop to Gallo. Ardo comes in, and it's their second run of this inning for the Rockies.
And now Charlie, all of a sudden, here in the second inning, after giving up 5 in the bottom of the first, Charlie represents the tying run. He walked last inning. Strike at the bottom of the zone. Charlie's hit 18 of his last 20 ball games. Reach back, missed, 1-1. Charlie, since the start of 2015, has the 4th best batting average in the National League at .310. His close friend DJ has hit .315 in that time frame. 1-1.
Well, that's why it's nice for Bud when he's making up the lineup. Last year was Charlie, then DJ, then this year he can flip-flop. It doesn't matter. These guys are going to hit. One's going to drive in the other.
1-2. Tell from that setup on the inside corner, it was going to be a fastball.
Yeah, you're not going to call a slider and set up inside.
2-2. Now he sets up a what? And it's a slider, and it's bounced through the left side. Cuevas coming home. Here's a throw toward the plate. It is not quite in time. Cuevas, who runs well, beat the throw, make it 5-3 on the opposite field hit by Blackman.
This is just Charlie kind of slapping it to left field. With the ball in play, good things will happen. Davis motoring around third. He has to. Gallo has a strong arm out in left field. And he knew the only option he had was to get out and around of that tag of Perez.
5 hits in the inning, 3 runs for the Rockies. Answering the 5 spot that Texas put up in the bottom of the first. Great time for Nolan to break out of the 0 for 19. Not looking his first time up.
Mendez just 3 for 11 on first pitch strikes tonight.
If Nolan ambushes him. No, he can't on that pitch. Chase there.
Yeah. Even though he chased, good thing is didn't make contact, still has 2 more strikes.
Well, he thought strike 3, but that's only strike
Bill,
2 there, Bill. Bill gave his emphatic, that's the end of the at-bat. Watch Bill Miller. Did his best Tom Hallion.
The dugout was asking, they were asking if that ball was down. They didn't think it was a strike from the dugout.
Trevor's on deck. 2-2.
We saw the pitch. It was that third pitch on the Subaru strike zone a moment ago. It wasn't the knees. It was indeed a strike.
That's a good job. That's a good job by Nolan, because you don't want to leave that on an umpire.
No, it was a good pitch, especially after somebody that tried to ring you up with just 2 strikes.
Well, when it comes to slugging percentage against left-handed pitching, the Rockies have 2 of the top 3 guys in the game. And Nolan's at the plate. Trevor Story's on deck. Two outs, 2 on, 3 runs in for the Rockies. And this ball's lined to left toward the corner. It's going to get down, run to the wall. 1 runner scored. Here comes Blackman. He'll get a green light. Throw to the plate is not going to get him. We're tied up on the double by Arenado. What a way to break the slump. And on that play, Carlos Perez fielding the baseball and the throw in, I think twisted his ankle.
We'll go back to the pitch first for Nola with 2 strikes. Gets the slider and is able to keep it fair. Sometimes when you get those sliders, you get out in front a little bit, you start to hook it. That one didn't. DJ's going to score. Now it's going to be pretty close, though. The play at the plate. Yeah, and it was his right ankle. And they just had to call a catcher up, Jose Trevino, because Robinson Chirinos has a 1-game suspension. So their starting catcher is suspended for tonight after that brawl they had in LA the other day.
Yeah, he got into it with Matt Kemp when Kemp ran him over.
How about this, though? 5-5 again. Here we go.
How about that?
And 4 of these with 2 outs.
6 hits in the inning.
Trevor's going to be the 9th guy to come to the plate this inning.
Watching Perez, and
it doesn't look too good.
Yeah, that doesn't look great. And here's the deal. It's not, you go, well, catcher have to move around a lot. That's not true at all, because he may not be able to block correctly or easily when he drops down. And there, his foot just, the spike gets caught up, and underneath him, you can see the
and he
ankle
immediately
roll.
grabs it. Well, remember,
He's going to stay in.
not last homestand, the homestand before, when Chris got hit on the knee, right above the knee, and he had to come out of the ball game because he couldn't block.
He couldn't block. See, this is all well and good. He can catch
and throw. That's okay.
That's okay. But can he drop and block a breaking ball in the dirt? What Jeff Bannister's probably studying. And I've never seen yet go, okay, hey, listen, we're going to come out to 30 feet and we're going to throw a couple in the dirt. Let me see if you can block it. That would be a first.
That would be a first. Well, keep an eye on that, because maybe this goes back into the dugout in between innings. He's still grabbing it.
And what you'll see is he'll favor the left side weight-wise in his stance. So Story hit a fly ball to left center field on the first pitch he saw in front of countless friends and family tonight. Nolan at second, the go-ahead run. Takes ball one. Story got to play in Globe Life a couple of times at workouts. He's one of the top high school players in the country. That ball's lined to left. That's a base hit. And Nolan's going to get a green light from Stu Cole. This throw is on line, but look at that. Carlos Perez, he could not move back to make a play on Nolan. I don't know if he would have gotten it, but he didn't even try to lean and dive. And the Rockies take a 6-5 lead. An RBI single for the hometown kid, Trevor Story.
Hey, great job by Stu Cole putting the pressure on the Rangers. Trevor smokes this one to left. That gives him 51 RBIs. He'd come in leading the National League, tied for third in all of baseball. That'll make him 51. And Perez, I mean, he did not even move. He caught the ball, and then that was it.
Mendez, a year ago, was rated the #2 prospect in the Texas organization. He dropped down a little bit this past year to #5. They have pitched poorly from a rotation standpoint. Mendez was called back to the big leagues to make the start tonight. But again, not picking on the young man, but it's not like he was tearing up the PCL. He had a mid-5 ERA.
Yeah, and an 0-6 record. He had a whip of 150. Now Matt Moore is up in the Rangers bullpen. They brought Mendez up because they needed to take Moore out of the rotation, let him kind of clear his mind.
Desmond got it all going with a home run leading off the inning. That seems like an hour ago. Desi hit a no-doubter to left. His 13th home run.
But now you can, I mean, if you just look at the Rockies dugout, you can see some smiles, some laughter again. Give Chad a chance to hit the reset button.
Here's how the inning began.
We got it all started. Hitting this slider out to left field, this 13th of the year, 10th home run out on the road.
And if you look at a lot of the hits this inning for the Rockies, they've been on that slider.
Yeah, and they barreled them too. Really, the only soft one was Cuevas.
And a snap throw to first. Story gets back.
I guess Charlie's was the sing-eye variety to left field, but he put the ball in play.
Rockies are 4 for 4 runners in scoring position. Outside. Keep the foot on the gas.
Exactly. The Rangers are feeling pretty good about their 5 runs in the first, and then the Rockies just exploded.
Two and one. And Story gets picked off. The throw, I don't know if it's going to get him. Nope, he stole the bag. Poor throw by Guzman to Profar. And for Trevor, his 9th stolen base.
Yeah, 9 out of 11 for Trevor. And Guzman just threw wild the first. He was going first movement. And then he throws wild to Profar, who had to reach for it. Allows Trevor to go to the backside of the bag and get his hand in there right before the tag is applied.
RBI out there for Desmond. And it's rounded back to the pitcher. And Mendez got a little frustration out firing it to first. So the Rockies gave up 5 in the bottom of the first. Not a problem. They come back with a 6-spot. And the Rockies go to the bottom of the second, lead 6-5.
Trevor Story grew up about 15 minutes away from here. In 1994, when this ballpark opened up, he's only 2 years old. I know we're getting old, but this ballpark meant the world to him. Check it out.
Did some, showcase stuff here when I was in high school. I think I played a couple games here, but this was my Yankee Stadium growing up, and always just in the stands watching from afar. But I think it's gonna be cool, when I'm taking BP, and but once it gets in the game, I'm gonna try to focus and just let it be another game.
Every time you think of a major league ball player, you got to think about the safety net, the people that are surrounding him, what has influenced him, and nothing better than having a ballpark, a major league team, 15 minutes away from you. Trevor's favorite player is a shortstop, Michael Young, UCSB Gaucho. Guys?
I like the way you slid that right in there, Billy.
Of course.
I knew you'd get that in.
Well, and Trevor also wanted to wear number 10 because that's the number that Michael Young wore.
Jose Trevino, this is not a surprise. He's pinch hitting, folks, for Carlos Perez. Perez rolled his ankle. He gutted it out, stayed in the game for the rest of the inning defensively. This is the major league debut for Trevino. And the 2-1.
And now if you're Jeff Bannister, you're kind of walking around on that bench saying, okay, who would be my backup catcher if something were to happen? Who's the guy would I go to? They called them from AA Frisco. Frisco just down the road.
Ground ball cut off by Nolan, spinning, throwing, and Trevino's out.
Well, let's go back to Wednesday, and part of the reason why they're down a catcher tonight was base hit by Kike Hernandez to right field. Lazar makes the throw home. Chirinos and Kemp get into a little bit of a collision. Well, this wasn't the problem. The collision itself, because that's where the throw took Chirinos. It's right here, though, where they get into the shoving match and a punch is thrown, and that's why he got a game suspension.
And Matt Kemp got a game suspension
exactly.
as well.
To me, that could easily just said no harm, no foul, and let them go about their business.
That's in there for a strike on Shin-Soo Choo. He had a bouncer to first. His initial at bat. 2-2. Last couple of weeks, he's been locked in that top spot in the lineup for Jeff Bannister. Texas has lost 6 consecutive games. And when a team's down and when a team's having a poor year, you were on some good clubs, some clubs that struggled, and all of a sudden there's that here we go again, because they jump out to a 5-0 lead, and then they look up, and next thing you know, they're losing.
Yeah, and it's real hard for your psyche, because you're already not real confident to begin with, and you're thinking, wow, we did it. We got up on top 5-0, and then 20, 25 minutes later, you're trailing. With the pitching staff, that's not real good.
No. And another walk. So Bettis has walked 3. And that'll bring up Delino DeShields. You know, even though Chad's been around, he's pitching here in Arlington. He rented out a suite tonight for friends and family. Family coming from West Texas. Maybe a little added adrenaline tonight for Bettis. He walked Delino DeShields his first time. And this is slowly hit. This is going to be a tough play for DJ. He's not going to have one. And Chu's going to end up at third base. Funches was hitting the right place. And even if DJ gets there, he's calculating in his mind if he's going to be able to slide and throw, because DeShields runs so well.
Oh, he's not going to be. The only thing that he would do is he would have kept Chu at second base. Because once this is cued off the end of the bat, DeShields' speed, I personally think DJ was going to try to make this play and then slide and come up and maybe pop back and look at second base.
I think you're right. You could tell just the way he was positioning himself on that dive, where he was going to, you know, reverse pivot on the ground, so to speak.
Yeah.
Well, now you have Profar, who hit one 427 feet into the second deck his first time up. Announcers sound like a broken record through the course of history, of at least in television and certainly in radio before that. When you walk somebody, it just seems like they come around to score at a higher percentage than they actually do. But now you have that guy that he walked, Chu, at third base.
It's the same percentage as a hit. It just feels like it's much worse because you didn't give the defense an opportunity to even make a play.
My buddy was talking about that the other day, and John Gray was mentioning that the Rockies have the best infield defense in the sport. Let them work, man.
They want to work. They gobble up ground balls.
This is fouled on the left side, out of play, second deck. So Spilly mentioned that this park was built in '94. And in a couple of years, they're going to have a new home. They're already under construction across the street. Turner Field was built for the '96 Olympics in Atlanta. That's gone. Well, it's not gone. They don't play Major League Baseball there anymore. They're now out in suburbia. There's the construction site.
So this was a year. It opened a year before Coors Field. And now they're already on their second one.
Yeah. Of course, Jerry's home.
Jerry's World.
And the key is it'll be indoors.
Well,
When the weather, I mean, they'll have a retractable roof, but when it's oppressively hot, as it is typically in the summer.
Well, I think they've learned from the Astros that they needed to do that. They needed to have a retractable dome, because when you play the day games here, you're not going to get the people to come sit in 110-degree weather and bake.
2 strikes on Profar. He went curveball, actually slider, but he buried it. A lot of pitches these first couple of innings for Chad. Closing in on 50 with just 1 out in the 2nd inning.
Now you're going to get action too at first base from DeShields. Good 2-2. He's been leaning.
You have to change out spikes in the middle of a game.
Socks more than spikes.
Socks?
Yeah, your socks will get sweaty.
No movement and a ground ball to second. See if they can turn it. There's one on the first, double play. That is a big twin killing there. 4-6-3. And Bettis works out of a little jam in the 2nd. The Rockies lead it 6-5. What makes a Subaru by Cheyenne Frontier Days. Log on to cfdrodeo.com for the full lineup. And by Jack in the Box, try the $4.99 Jack Spicy Chicken Club combo with toasted sourdough, new from Jack in the Box. With Ryan Spilborghs and Jeff Houston, the former Ranger, I'm Drew Goodman. The Rockies were down 5-0 after 1. No problem. They scored 6 in the 2nd. Tom Murphy had a base hit, one of 7 Rockies hits in that inning. And still out there is the 23-year-old from Venezuela, Yohander Mendez. And Murphy, a good take. It's 2-0. Murphy among the league leaders in the Pacific Coast League in home runs with 16. Really shortened up his approach at the plate. And that's redirected to second. The 1-4-3 on the putout.
That's unfortunate because that was headed back up the middle.
Gerardo Parra. He reached on a fielder's choice in the second and would score. One of the interesting things about this series between these two clubs, they've played 33 times now. The Rockies have won 16, the Rangers have won 17. And if you look at the stats, especially the offensive stats, they're almost identical. This is two Hopper to second, and Tanner Falefa has another play. Two gone, that'll bring up Iannetta. So here's the history. Both teams averaging just under 6 runs a game. The batting average is identical. The on-base percentage almost identical. The slugging percentage almost identical. Therefore, the OPS is basically identical. 830 for the Rockies, 835 for Texas.
That's a pretty decent sample size, too, 33 games.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But it seems like even if the Rockies are not playing, this year they're playing teams out of the AL West. But next year when they go back to the AL East, they'll still get either the Rangers or the Astros. I mean, that's kind of the teams.
Well, the Rockies don't have a quote-unquote natural rivalry like Kansas City's going to play St. Louis. The Cubs play the White Sox. The Mets and Yankees play. So much speculation among some national writers over the last year that Rob Manfred's on the record as saying he wants to expand. He has to get the situations with the stadiums set in Oakland and Tampa, and they're far from set. Both of those teams in their respective cities desperately need new facilities. And that's a walk to Iannetta. That'll allow Cuevas to hit with 2 outs. But once they do that, Manfred, with how well the game's going, the commissioner wants to see that baseball expanded by a couple of teams. At that point in time, you're going to see some form of realignment. And there's going to be realignment based on geography, as it should be.
Cut down on some travel costs.
Right. And if you look at it geographically, the Rockies are involved with 3 West Coast teams right now, 3 California teams in Arizona. There's probably a strong likelihood when that day arrives that the Rockies could be in a division kind of in the western part of the Midwest, which would probably include the 2 Texas teams.
That's right.
This is pop foul along the first base line and out of play.
I just don't know how soon that's going to be because they've been wrestling with the ballparks in Oakland and Tampa for a long time. They keep saying that we need to do something, but nothing's been done yet. So I don't know how close in the near future some of that will be. I think there's some great cities out there, though.
Well, Montreal, wants Major League Baseball back again. Portland, Oregon wants Major League Baseball. Bigger market than you may realize. Nashville, Charlotte. Las Vegas with the great success of the Knights in hockey, and NFL's going there with the Raiders.
Look, I'm just saying though, if they build one in Vegas, they have to have a dome.
No question.
It's like Phoenix in the summertime, smoking hot.
This is on 1 hop to second. Rockies done in their half of the third. They have a 6-5 lead, middle of 3.
Adrian Beltre.
Kind of an underrated career. Not a lot of, I think he's getting the recognition now because he got 3,000 hits, but before that, you didn't really hear a lot about Adrian Beltre, and that's probably why I loved him, is because just kind of underground, not people give him the credit he really deserves as being one of the best players to ever play the game. I loved him when he was in LA way back in the day when I was young, and just the way he handles himself and the way he goes about the game, just amazing player, and he does it on both sides of the ball, which I admire.
Beltre flies out to right field to get the first out of the inning. Well, what's important about Adrian, 3,093 hits. It's the most for a foreign-born player in Major League Baseball history. I think it's great. Nolan has been able to spend time with Adrian over the last couple of years, took a trip with Adrian, and they've really grown a nice friendship together, which is always great. When your hero becomes your friend, that's something special.
He's been a great leader in his career, and I'm glad he's starting to get his due, as silly as that sounds, because he's 39, and we're going to show you some of his numbers. And Spilly mentioned a couple of those. They're off the charts. I remember, Huey, you were with me in Texas a couple of years ago, and I said he, for me, is a first ballot Hall of Famer. This was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And you know how the Twitter universe is. A couple people said, "Oh, are you kidding me? He's a borderline Hall of Famer at best." No, he's not. Look at this.
Borderline with these numbers?
464 home runs. He's driven in almost 1,700. The 3,000 hits Spilly mentioned. I got one for you. He has 624. Excuse me. He has 622 doubles in his career. Next up is Henry Aaron at 624. And defensively, he is one of the best third basemen in the last 30 years at that spot. He is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
No doubt in my mind. The other number, too, is he has over 150 home runs with 3 different ball clubs.
And then the other, exactly, and then the other part of it, which is somewhat factored in, you can't put a number on it. Great teammate, great leader.
Oh, exactly. And he still plays with the same passion today as he did when he broke in.
It's just harder when it's harder to do a lot of things athletically when you get close to 40. It's harder for him to stay on the field. Calf issues a couple of years ago. This year it's been a hamstring situation. Strike 3, and Odor is dismissed.
Right on the edge of the Subaru strike zone. Good pitch from Chad.
First strikeout tonight for Bettis. 2 outs in the 3rd.
Well, set up away was Tom, and then he spots the glove perfectly.
That was interesting. Did you see Murph? He pointed after he threw down to Nolan. He pointed to the dugout as if maybe the suggestion for that pitch came from the dugout. I'm only guessing.
Every once in a while, you get suggestions from the bench. I mean, it's not like it is in college, and the wristbands that, Mike Redmond's doing all that. The wristbands they have are not for particular pitches. And there's a lot of things going on with those, but it still comes down to the pitcher-catcher combination. And at the end of the day, the pitcher decides what pitch he wants to throw. If he's not comfortable throwing something, he doesn't have to throw it.
He's got to be convicted.
Yes.
Inside on Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. RBI single in the first for Kiner-Falefa. 3-2. Kiner-Falefa got his first big league hit on April 13th against Garrett Cole of Houston. The next day, he took Charlie Morton deep. Did Trevor make a play? Oh, yeah, easily. Well, we had a 1-4-3 last half inning. How about a 1-6-3 and a 1-2-3 inning for Chad Bettis? We'll go to the 4th. The Rockies up 6-5. 30th anniversary of the release of a classic. Bull Durham. Who is your favorite character? Crash Davis, Nuke Lelouch, Annie Savoy, or Larry Hockett? You know what? I mean, you got to go with Crash Davis. Well, I don't think you have to go with Crash Davis.
No, but
For me, it was Crash or Annie Savoy, right?
I also like Nuke Lelouch, too. Gotta breathe through the eyelids.
Great cast as well.
Well, and the great thing about that movie is it came out in 1988 when I was playing in AA.
You went to Durham, right?
No, we did. Durham was in.
Oh, you weren't in that
I
league.
wasn't in that league. But I just remember they had a premiere on an off day for us. And so we got to see it as a team. And just how neat that was. Because it was like, wait, we're living this right now.
Always been a big Susan Sarandon fan. Matt Moore takes over in the 4th inning.
Well, he's moved to the bullpen on Wednesday.
It's been a rough go for Matt Moore. He gets a strikeout on DJ. Matt Moore was moved to the bullpen because lefties are hitting .425 against him and righties .340.
Well, in the 12 games that he's started this year, he had an .802 ERA, giving up 49 earned runs in 55 innings. A whip over 2. That'll get you moved to the pen.
The Rockies familiar with him because he was in San Francisco.
But Charlie 6 for 16 and a home run against Moore.
One strike on Charlie. Rockies up 6-5. You know, it's weird. In your mind, you feel like, man, the Rockies are up a ton because they had that big inning and they scored 6 times. But of course, Texas had a huge inning also, so it's a one-run game.
It's 1-0 right now.
It's 1-0.
That's the way you have to look at this game.
Charlie, an RBI single in the 2nd. So 3 innings pitched for Mendez. Gives up 6 earned runs on 7 hits. Struck out 1, walked 2.
Got 72 pitches to navigate those 3 innings.
Outside. Moore, a year and a half in a Giant uniform. Came in a July trade in 2016 from Tampa. Went 6-5 with a 4.08 down the stretch for the Giants. Last year, 6-15 with a 5.52 ERA. That's fouled off. His best year in the big leagues in 2013 with the Rays. He went 17-4 with a 3.29.
Well, that's what San Francisco was hoping they could recreate some of that magic. They got him a Dave Righetti that he figured out. Hopefully he could learn a cutter. He did. He's 1 game below 500 in his major league career now, including this year, 52 and 53.
One, 2, and right back to Moore. Two outs, nobody on, and that'll bring up Nolan. He had a patient at bat in the 2nd inning after striking out in the 1st. He broke it 0 for 19 when he lined a slider to the left field corner to score 2 runs. In fact, that would tie up the game. And Nolan would come around with the go-ahead run on a base hit by Story. They x-rayed Carlos Perez's ankle. The x-rays were negative, so that's good news for the Rangers. Got word from the Texas clubhouse on that.
He knew if he couldn't go back and apply a tag, but he had to come out of the game.
Also a reminder, it's Friday night. We give you that reminder. And we'd be really surprised if you didn't realize that. But here's the other reminder we're giving you. Buddy will join us, as he does every Friday night, after the Rockies hit in the fourth. We're in the fourth, and the Rockies are hitting.
Oh.
Wow.
Well, Bill Miller tried to ring Nolan up with 2 strikes last time, and now he gets a pitch that's looks like it's well in for a second strike. Yeah, it is. Look at the Subaru strike zone. That's pitch number 3. Not even close.
We're still got the good velocity. Pitching staff for Texas has had issues. Their rotation of 555 earned run average, which is 29th in baseball of 30 teams. A big reason why they are 27 and 43.
They use a lot of different starters too. Unlike the Rockies, use the same 5 all year long.
See who's going to pitch on Sunday for the Rangers?
Gallardo.
Giovanni Gallardo. He's had 9 lives, huh?
Yes, he has.
Trevino won't have a play. The 0 for 19 for Nolan. Just thinking back, you and I both been thinking, when was the last time Nolan was, 0 for 12, much less 0 for 19? And it is official. The 0 for 19 was the worst run, the worst 0 for of his career. And the beautiful thing is, he's still hitting into the knock. 306.
Still driven in 39.
And that was a borderline pitch. It's ball 4, so Nolan walks, and that'll bring up Story. The other thing you want to follow up here, you remember you're getting a little funk, you get that hit, you want to follow up with another good at bat.
Yeah, and he did that. Even falling behind 1-2, able to coax the walk out of Matt Moore.
Story ripped that single to left to drive home Nolan with the go-ahead run. 5 in the bottom of the first for Texas, 6 in the top of the second for the Rockies. All right, you just know this is going to happen. At some point this weekend, Trevor's going to hit a hometown homer, right?
Has to.
Got to be.
Has to. I'll take it to left field. I'll take a homer to any part of the field, but I'd really like to see one if he's going to do it to center, right center. Because the thing you do when you're playing in front of a lot of friends and family, you kind of get over anxious. And Trevor's in such a great spot offensively right now. You'd hate for him to get out of that mode of going the other way if the pitch is away. That's right. Vote for Trevor for the All-Star.
Yeah, vote a few times.
Vote up to 35 times.
Strike 3 on Story.
These pitches are strikes.
That pitch is nowhere near the zone, nor was the second pitch that was called a strike. Six-5 Rockies. you probably like the best about that top of the inning. Not only you get 6 runs, but how you did it. It was one hitter after another, wasn't it?
Yeah, I like the at-bats for sure. Good at-bats, grinded with 2 strikes, had some good swings, fought off some pitches with 2 strikes, got base hits. So that was impressive. Little fireworks against us in the first. Looks like Chad hopefully has settled down a little bit here.
Yeah, it looked like early on with the slider and the curveball especially, and he just couldn't command those.
Yeah, couldn't command the fastball. You know, the home run to Gallo and then the breaking ball to the shortstop, that was up too. So he's got to get the ball down, locate that heater, and you know, keep the ball down. I mean, that's Chad's game.
Buddy, we appreciate
thanks,
it,
buddy.
man. Good luck the rest of the way.
Okay, guys.
Chad is facing Joey Gallo.
This is the first time that I've seen this for the Rockies. That is Nolan in left field towards the
Wow.
line.
I just looked out there and said, what is going on? And he lays down a bunt and it goes foul.
So you got the 4-man outfield.
How about this? And folks, this has been talked about because there's no way they just whistle at Nolan and say, hey, go out to left field right now.
No. Gerardo's in left center. Charlie's in right center. Noel's guarding the line in right. This is kind of fun to see this.
This is interesting.
I think the important part is that this isn't the first time that this shift has been used on Joey Gallo. And so there's been quite a bit of success. It's just nice to see that the Rockies decided to put Nolan in left.
Who was the other two? There was somebody just recently. Like
The Astros have done it to him numerous times.
Okay. I couldn't remember who it was, but I know I'd seen it before.
And by the way, when Joey Gallo tried to put the bunt down, Nolan tried to barehand it.
Could he have made a play?
Probably would have made a play too.
Off the plate, 3-2.
Nolan has nobody to talk to out in left field, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, he was chatting up Tony Beasley, the third base coach for Texas, but it's close enough to Parra. Strike 3 on the outside corner. And Gallo is done, and Nolan's got to jog in from left field.
Well, they're not even going to throw it around to Nolan because he's still working his way back in.
That would have been a long throw for Murph.
Pitch to Joey Gallo. They turned it over. Not surprising, though. That's 100 strikeouts on the year for Joey Gallo. 100. He's already hit the century mark.
Most in baseball. Guzman takes a fastball with some pepper on it at 93 for a strike. Changeup's outside, and it's 1-1. Buddy was talking about it with us a moment ago. Chad had a 1-2-3 third. Hopefully he'd like to follow that up with another short, sweet inning here.
Really hasn't had command of anything tonight, any of his pitches. Sometimes pitchers will go, well, at least I have command of this pitch, whatever it is. Tonight for Chad, it is just going to be one of those nights where he's just going to have to grind his way through it.
And that's outside. 3-1. On the corner. Pretty big zone for Bill Miller, east and west.
But that at least catches a portion of the Subaru strike zone, unlike the 2 to Trevor that didn't catch anything.
Been 5 strikeouts combined in the game. 4 have been looking. It was not granted. Strike 3. Bill Miller never granted time to Guzman. And he is gone. 2 outs.
And how about Chad going ahead and going through the pitch? He's ready to go. Doesn't matter.
And Jeff Bannister kind of feels obligated to go out and keep his player in the game and see if he says anything to Miller. You know, we always talk about this, and when an umpire hears that, he almost always grants time. But Miller, you know, he's a veteran umpire, and he felt like Chad was already he's in his windup, so it would be unfair.
So he doesn't have to grant it.
Nope. And you always tell young players, ask for it verbally. Don't take your hand off the bat. Ask for it verbally so you're still ready to hit. If it's granted, then you're good. This ball is line foul.
But good for Chad to go ahead and make that pitch. Because I've seen some pitchers go, well, what do I do now? Do I stop? Do I not throw it? I've seen him throw it to the backstop, and he didn't do that.
And had he stopped, it would have been a balk, and it would have been a ball.
Sometimes they'll call it a balk. Sometimes they'll just say, well, you know, no harm, no foul.
You're right. They do that, but if they could
They
award a
could
ball.
have, yeah, they could. But for Chad, did the right thing. Throw it.
One and two on Trevino, second major league at bat. He came in for Sanchez, or excuse me, for Perez. Carlos Perez had to leave the game. He twisted his ankle, fielding a ball at home plate in that 6-run second inning for the Rockies. Easy play at short for Story. And another 1-2-3 innings. That's 7 in a row set down now by Bettis. The Rockies up 6-5. Southwest Airlines, low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. That's Globe Life Stadium, Globe Life Park. 6-5 Rockies here on a Friday night. And the former Ranger, Ian Desmond, is at the plate. A home run in the second. He had 2 at-bats in the second, also a comebacker. Second inning of work for Matt Moore. Inside and high, ball 1 on Desmond. And this ball's well hit right center field, and it is gone. Snuck out of the ballpark. A 2-home run night for Ian Desmond. Well, he had a great year in Arlington, his one season here in 2016, and he is enjoying a great night in his return. 7-5 Colorado, number 14 for Desmond, as he ties Trevor Story for the team lead.
Also his 5th career multi-home run game. This one just snuck over the wall in right center field into the Rangers bullpen. And if there's one area of this park, I said it earlier, it bears repeating, is where the jet stream is. It's right over in that direction.
That's a a Desi home run, similar to the last one. He hits all, when he squares stuff up, they're not majestic fly balls, they're bullets. And he's so strong that his line drives carry a long way.
Well, and he just tied Charlie Blackmon, too, for second most road home runs. Ozzie Albies is the leader. He has 13.
Asked Desi if he liked playing in the heat. He said, of course, I'm from Sarasota. I'm used to it. Played in it my whole life. And we've got tacos. That's right. Fans, the Rockies have hit the magic number of 7. Do not forget to go to your participating Taco Bell location tomorrow between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special, the Masa Taco Bell. Now you play cheerleader.
That's right. I like it.
Murphy fouls that pitch off. Ball and 2 strikes on Murph. 1 for 2 in the game. He worked hard on his swing. We talked about it with Tim Daugherty and AAA, the Rockies AAA hitting coach, and also Glenn Allen Hill. And Moore gets a strikeout on Murphy. 1 out, and that'll bring up Gerardo Parra. 3rd strikeout for Moore. Keep talking about the road home runs, Huey.
Yeah.
Give you a split. Gerardo at home is hitting .259. He has not hit a home run yet at 20th and Blake. On the road, .317 with obviously his 3 home runs.
That's a partial reason why the Rockies have won 22 games out on the road this year. 22 and 16.
Found straight back.
And now the Rockies have 47 road home runs. It's tied for 2nd in the National League with Milwaukee. Atlanta has 50 road home runs, and that's in large part to Ozzie Albies in his 13.
And this ball's turned on and hit pretty well to right field. Chu will make the catch in front of the track. 2nd out. With the Rockies leading 7-5. Chris Iannetta will come up, the DH. I don't know how they did it in your day in Texas. I was talking to Desmond about this earlier. And asked him, did they not take BP certain days when it was oppressively hot? And I know under Ron Washington they didn't always do it.
Yeah.
But 2 years ago under Jeff Bannister, he said we not only took BP every day, he said, but we would take infield and outfield a fair amount of the time.
I think that might be a little much. But the way they used to do it is you either had to stay out the group before you hit or the group after. And that's when you took your ground balls. But you didn't have to stay out for the whole time.
And typically there are going to be 4 groups that hit.
Yes. 3 at the minimum. So you would hit, and then you could take ground balls, or you could take your ground balls first, hit, and then go inside. But that was back too, though, where we took infield almost every day. I mean, that was league wide. Everybody did that.
Outside.
But the interesting thing here too, though, is today they were taking BP in shorts, which you see in the minor leagues. No, we didn't do that. You see that in the minor leagues. You're down in rookie ball for sure, but they were taking BP in shorts and their ground balls.
And I don't have any
I don't either.
issue with that
No.
because
Well, the gates aren't open yet when the home team hits, typically. Maybe right at the end it opens up.
it's all, you guys are playing a marathon season, 162 games. And again, it's oppressively hot. You want to keep guys ready to go at 7:05. If that means wearing shorts, so be it. Towering fly ball left center field. Gallo will make the play. In the inning, Ian Desmond with his second home run tonight. He has one to left, and he just added one to right. Colorado 7, Texas 5.
First 15,000 through the gates for the Rockies-Marlins game on June 24th. They'll receive a 25th anniversary season Blake Street Bombers t-shirt courtesy of Coca-Cola.
Shin-Soo Choo at the top of the Texas lineup here in the 5th inning. Delino, DeShields, Yerkes, Profar. 7 in a row retired by Chad Bettis, and that's off the plate. 2-0. Chad gave up 5 in the first, dealt with traffic in the second. That's why he's 83 pitches in, and he's 3-0 on Shin-Soo Choo.
Start to see some stirring out in the Rockies bullpen. In its 11th major league season.
Did he
Yes,
go?
he
did. And Chad comes all the way back. Got his 4th strikeout.
Oh, he went with the slider down and in. Chad knew it. He didn't even pretend like he didn't do it. 4th strikeout for Chad.
DeShields will walk in an infield hit, and he takes strike 1. And I think he went. He did. 0-2. Chad's starting to pound the zone here after falling behind 3-0.
His tempo's pretty good too.
And a swing and a miss. Real good tempo. Real good results. He has struck out 4 of the last 5, and 2 quickly gone in the 5th inning.
Yeah, the first two were looking, these last two swinging. That's a good thing when you're ahead. You don't have to throw a strike. The hitter's gonna chase for you.
Here's Profar, 2-run home run in the first, grounded into a 4-6-3 in the second inning to end a threat. Big swing, and it's 1-1.
Kind of mimics Adrian Beltre from the left side, where he'll drop to that back knee, is Profar.
Profar fouls this pitch off. Remember a few years ago, Profar was not only the Rangers' top prospect, he was listed as one of the 3 or 4 top prospects in baseball. At one point, he was listed #1 by a couple of outlets. He's only 25. Does that seem weird?
A little bit, because you've been hearing about him for so long.
Yeah, he's in his 9th professional season. Last year was a rough go for him. He spent more time at Round Rock than he did in Arlington.
Another one of those players from Curacao. Got some good ones come out of there.
See what happens when Elvis Andrus comes back. Andrus is going to play short.
I think they might slide him over to second. Ed Odor is not having a good year.
He's having a poor year offensively, and he's never been a great defensive player. Profar on a team that has struggled, actually been solid offensively. And this is on the ground toward the middle. DJ pops up off the backhand and makes a tough play look rather easy. And it's a 1-2-3 5th inning. That's 10 in a row set down by Chad Bettis. His club's ahead 7-5. Artist rendering is a ballpark, and
Tell me that doesn't look a little bit like Houston's ballpark with the opening on the side.
yeah, and you can see, the retractable roof.
Going to be great. Will you be sentimental at all, having played here in Arlington at this facility?
No. I mean, I played in this one. I played in the old one, so go broadcast in that one. It'll be my third stadium here in Texas.
Isn't that wild?
You know what it makes me feel?
Old. Yeah. Yeah, you're all right. Cuevas takes inside. And he's ahead 2-0. Noel has a base hit and a ground ball to second. He's got family here in the Dallas area. In fact, his aunt, who he calls his second mom, had him over the house today. And we got some home cooking for lunch.
Yeah, he was excited. Just like anybody when you play in front of friends and family. I said the difference too now is they've seen you play in the minor leagues. Now they're seeing you play in the big leagues.
Now they're seeing you play in the show.
A little bit extra smile, bigger smile came to his face. Said, yeah.
Well, we've gotten to know him. We got to know him a little bit during spring training. We got to know him now a lot better, seeing him every day. What a great kid.
Hard worker. That's what jumps out to me. We're fortunate we're around these guys every single day. They just kind of watch the way they go about their business. That's what impresses me.
Yeah, he's professional. Smart young man who brings some tools to the yard. Got some pop. He runs well. Beltre.
You can still do that. Well, you want to get to the ballpark early on June 23rd for photo day. It's starting at 10:30 a.m. You get a photo with the current Rockies players as well as all-time 25 alum like Larry Walker, Todd Helton, and much, much more. Get info at Rockies.com/25th. I had to say Larry Walker in that voice that Roach used to say it when he was playing.
Exactly. This ball hit the center field pretty deep off the battle of Mayhew, and it is caught out there by DeShields. We told you at the outset of the broadcast that Texas has been a poor defensive team, but they have an outstanding center fielder. And Delino just made a terrific catch.
Well, he knows he's going to run into the wall, too. He gives a little glance, and then he looks up, makes a catch on the Subaru Supermo, one step and crash. That one stung him.
And with 2 outs, Charlie's at the plate. A walk, a single to drive in a run in the second, and a comebacker.
Well, that's a pitch that's been called quite a bit on the Subaru strike zone. Watch it. Spilly, heads up, pal. You okay?
It's not like I screamed, good thing this thing wasn't on. I'm a high-pitched squealer. These guys can attest, like they're all laughing. Yeah, it's all right.
It went right above your head. That's
I'm
why I
fine.
was making
I'm
sure
fine.
you're
Yeah,
okay.
no, I was acting like that was scary.
Glad you're okay. The ball went back out on the field if that's what you're looking for.
I am looking forward.
I can see you.
And yeah, I might be sitting in a puddle.
Two and two.
That's outside. Now Charlie moves in front 3-2. 3-2. Blackman was born in Dallas. He doesn't claim Dallas as his home because he left at 2 to Atlanta. This is to short. One, 2, 3 inning for Mort. He's retired 6 in a row. The Rockies up 7-5. And still out on the mound is Chad Bettis. Looks like a different pitcher the last few innings. And the guy who gave up 5 in the first, he has retired 10 in a row. Curveball for strike 1 to Adrian. Told this story before about Beltre. Jim Tracy, who we just saw in Cincinnati, came and visited the club. When he was managing the Dodgers and Beltre was still in Los Angeles. That was one year he hit 48 home runs for Trace. That's going to be another tough play. Safe at first. That's the second time Beltre's had a leg hit tonight on the left side.
And remember, he's had some calf and some hamstring problems. I mean, his two hits tonight probably did total 90 feet. Yet he is 2 for 3.
Desmond having fun with his former teammate. He went over and tagged him, which is the right thing to do, just in case Beltre had made any sort of turn or inkling toward second base. That's why he kind of deked the overthrow. Because then if you go and tag him.
And we've already seen it once this year.
Yeah, it ended a game.
It was at Kemp, I believe.
But going back to what Jim Tracy said about Beltre. This is when Beltre was still a very young player. And he said this guy is going to have a fabulous career, and he loved everything about him. And he was obviously right on the money.
Tracy's a pretty good judge of character.
Character and talent, you bet. Those two guys right there ran the clubhouse in 2016 for the 95 win division champion Texas Rangers. Odor at the plate. Good block by Murphy. 2-1.
I was talking to the Rangers first base coach today, Steve Buechele, who's a good friend of mine. See Boo right in the corner there of that shot just a moment ago, and Boo was talking about Ian Desmond and said, man, he's a great dude, isn't he? He's so good for your club. I said, yeah.
Foul tip, and it's 2-2 on Odor. Chris Russin throwing in the Rockies pen, and Tony Barnett is throwing in Texas's bullpen. Actually, it's not Russin, it's Harrison Musgrave. Four pitches in for Bettis, and a strikeout of Odor. There's that changeup that looks like a splitter.
When he's found that off-speed pitch.
6 strikeouts now for Bettis.
2 in the 5th, 2 strikeouts in the 5th, 2 strikeouts in the 4th, 1 in the 3rd. 105 pitches for Chad. 63 strikes, 42 balls.
This outing right now for Chad embodies who he is.
Agreed.
You know what? I mean, this is a big hop to Nolan. He won't be able to turn it over, but he did a great job of getting the lead runner 2 outs. The reason I say that is Chad was always a tough guy, tough-minded guy. And the battle last year with cancer, I think the whole world, at least the baseball world, and many others fortunately got to see his character, his indomitable spirit. And then today, he comes out back home in Texas, gives up 5 in the 1st. And now here he is with Buddy, and he's reached the end of the line, close to 110 pitches, and Buddy's slapping him on the chest. He has a chance to get a W, and after that 1st inning, he was pretty dominant. He was Chad Bettis. Rockies up 7-5, 2 outs in the 6th. And left-handed hitting Joey Gallo's up, and he's going to get Harrison Musgrave, who's done a nice job for the Rockies since being called to the big leagues.
But starting to put him in more pressure-packed situations. First got called up, it was, well, just fit him in here and there. But he showed that he's earned that right.
Well, the Rockies,
and with some of the struggles in the bullpen, you know, he's getting that opportunity.
Yeah. Well, the Rockies can't utilize 4 outfielders now with Gallo because there's a runner on base. Last time he came up, leading off the 3rd inning, he splits away, and moving in the scoring position is Connor Falefa.
What happens? No, that's just a pass ball. Tom just missed it.
He's going to be swinging here. Be careful if you're Musgrave. 3-0. Actually, the scoreboard had a 3-0. It's now 2-1.
Yeah,
now 2-2.
But I was with you. I was looking up and trying to go back in my head and think, wait a second, there's only been 2 pitches thrown. That's why you don't trust the scoreboard. In fact, you had Bill Miller earlier tonight try to strike Nolan out with 2 strikes.
Yeah, that's not right. 2-2. And he strikes out Gallo with a hard-breaking ball. Nice job by Musgrave. He leaves a runner at second base. We move on to the 7th inning. The Rockies ahead of the Rangers 7-5. Good pitch.
Leading off this inning, but on Thursday was given the day off by Bud Black to just kind of clear his mind. How do you think it is telling a superstar he's about to get a day off?
Yeah, I don't like, getting days off, especially when we have a chance to win a series or stuff like that. But, I don't make those decisions. But sees me that I'm not, really helping right now. So he probably thought the best thing for me is to get ready for the Rangers series, and I am. I'm going to be ready to go.
We love Nolan. We love when he plays. But, sometimes you got to take a step back for Nolan to, maybe be very productive in upcoming games.
And so far, Nolan has a hit and a walk. And I think it's important when guys get a mental day off. For Nolan, it was a bit of a grind. You could tell it when he was at the plate, taking some frustrations out when he was not getting hits. I want to show you how many games Nolan has played in the last couple of years. It's pretty impressive, especially given the fact that he does not want those days off. Since 2015, Nolan leads the Rockies. Charlie right behind him, 523 games, then DJ, then Cargo. So obviously, when Nolan is in the lineup, you just expect him, and that's what Bud has always said about Nolan. expect him to play 150 games. He's built for it, guys.
He is built for it. One of the ways you gauge a player's effectiveness, usefulness, in the case of Arenado, greatness, their ability to post up. And Nolan posts up every single night.
And even when they're struggling, the other teams, they know they might be struggling, but they still say, well, it's Nolan. Tonight's the night he could break out of it.
There's still,
so that there's still that
presence.
fear factor.
Sure. Tony Barnett's the new pitcher for Texas.
Watch it.
Third year in the bullpen for Texas. Pitched at Central Arizona and then 2 years at Arizona State. Senior side. Grew up in Federal Way.
Not too bad.
Outside of Seattle.
With the 20 strikeouts and just 4 walks for Barnett.
And that is lined to left, and it's going to be another double for Nolan Arenado, his second of the night. And he's pumped up. You can see it off camera. Right as he arrived at second base, he clapped his hands together hard a couple times, because not only is it a double, not only was he 0 for 19 coming into the second at bat tonight, which was the longest 0 for stretch of his career, but in that particular situation, he was down in the count.
Well, and also he had the one come right up by his head the previous pitch.
Yeah, good point.
Okay, that gets you a little angry. And it wasn't intentional. There was no, you know, Tony didn't mean to throw it up there, but it still wakes you up.
Nolan on base about half the time when he leads off an inning. And here's Story. Singled in a run in the second, also a stolen base, 1 for 3 in his homecoming. Another note on Barnett that's interesting. He's one of 12 players in the history of the game that were born in Alaska. Rockies had one, and a good one. Grew up in Colorado, but Sean Chacon was born in Alaska.
Right.
Tony was born in Anchorage. Inside on Story. Good swing by Story.
Well, this morning in the Dallas Morning News sports section on the front page, an article written by Jerry Fraley. Really nice article about the one that got away. They were talking about the number of shortstops that the Rangers had drafted this year in the draft. They drafted 3 in the previous couple of years. But they were just talking about this kid from Irving, right in your backyard. Let him get away. Well, I'm glad they did, because he's been a great guy for the Rockies.
Well, if they redrafted, Trevor Story would go a lot higher than 45th overall. I mean, there's no shame in going 45th in the country, especially as a high school kid. A great selection by Billy Schmidt and his staff. I think he's a keeper. 2-2. Some other notables from that 2011 draft. George Springer out of UConn. Obviously a terrific selection for Houston. Javi Baez went 9th overall that year to the Cubs. And Cisco Lindor 8th overall. Trevor doesn't have to take a back seat to anybody. No. He's getting better and better. He's cut down on the chase rate. His contact rate is up. The production is up.
Well, you knew that was only going to happen. With his speed, with his power, cut down on some of the strikeouts, going to get more hits. The average is going to go up. It all works hand in hand.
And the more you're on base, the more the speed will play. And not just in the stolen base department, but scoring on a double where others maybe would not be able to score. Going first to third on a ball that maybe others wouldn't be able to do that. And that is a base hit right center field. Nolan is going to come home. It's another RBI, and here's where the speed will play up. It's not a double for everybody. It is for Story. He's having a big night in his return to Arlington.
Happy to see that one. Mentioned it earlier. It's easy to get overamped. You overswing. You want to impress. You want to hit 500-foot home runs. But he goes with the pitch with 2 strikes. And this is something he's been doing a lot more lately. Short, compact swing, just trying to put it in play. Great things are going to happen. He's going to drive in Nolan. So now that makes it 52 RBIs on the year for Trevor. And he's 2 for 4 tonight.
Just thrilled for him. Desi at the plate. 2 home run night for Desmond. He takes a strike. Last year, Story's chase percentage was almost 1/3 of the time. This year, it's down below 28%.
And I think even in the last 6 weeks, it's lower than that.
Lower than that. We're describing Nolan as a guy that posts up every day. Story is a guy that posts up every day. 8-5 Colorado. How about the night for Ian Desmond?
Yeah.
In his return.
Yeah, home run in the 2nd inning. That got the party started. Part of that 6-run second. And then again, a leadoff home run in the 5th. Second time this year he's had 2 home runs in a game.
He's going to drift out of play.
The other time was that for Desi, real quick, was the Mets in New York when he had 2 home runs.
10 hits now for the Rockies. Nobody out in the 7th. That's strike 3. Desmond upset with himself. Perhaps upset with Bill Miller, one way or the other. 1 out, and that'll bring up Tom Murphy. Murph's 1 for 3. Well, Trevor Story, special night for him. And you know what's special for Ken and Teddy, his parents? Spilly did a great story today with his dad. At his old firehouse, his dad recently retired after 37 years as a firefighter. Mom Teddy has been very philanthropic. She recently retired.
Thank his dad for his service and the first responders.
Murphy lines this ball with authority to center. And it's gloved out there by DeShields. 2 outs. Well, Spilly, you got his dad to talk, because evidently in that family, Mom does most of the talking.
Yeah,
and that's what Trevor was telling us.
He was great. He was great today, and it was fun to spend some time with Kenny Story. I want to show you the shirt that he gave me. Irving, Texas, his fire station is part of the hazardous material crew that goes out in this area, and it truly is. It's pretty remarkable going to the fire station, just watching how many of them have become Colorado Rockies fans. And more importantly, I think what's really great about the stories, Teddy's story, Trevor's mom just recently retired from Irving Cares, a 501c3 nonprofit in Irving that gives back to the community. There's about 200 people tonight with Irving Cares, and then 37 years retired now, 37 years in the fire station for Kenny Story, just giving back to the community. And Trevor really has a sense of Irving, Texas with him.
It's a very close family, Spilly, as you know. You worked out with Trevor, did a story with him in the offseason. And his brother Tyler, his older brother Tyler, was a very good baseball player. In fact, he played at Texas Tyler, which just recently won the Division III National Championship. Yeah. Battled some injuries when he was there, but he was a First baseman, corner outfielder. One on Gerardo. That is so funny. I don't
Did
know
you
if
see
it,
what
yeah.
happened?
You know what? That is great. Jose
Beltre.
Trevino, he wanted to have the swing checked out. He pointed down toward Angel Hernandez. Hernandez didn't get the signal from Bill Miller. Adrian Beltre immediately gave the safe sign. Said no, he didn't go. It's a ground ball to first. That's going to end the inning. That was funny. Adrian Beltre, pretty good third baseman. And a little umpiring on the side. Rockies back-to-back doubles, getting another run, 8-5. It's been a nice night for Ian Desmond, the former Ranger. He hit a home run to get the Rockies on the board. They're down 5-1 at that point. Trevor Story got involved, an RBI hit in his return to his hometown. And then Desmond a little bit later on, another home run. That extended the Rockies' lead to 7-5. And the Rockies just had back-to-back doubles from Nolan Arenado and Trevor Story to produce their 8th run. Chad Bettis on the plus side, 8-5 as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Drew Goodman, Jeff Houston, Ryan Spilborghs from hot and muggy Globe Life Park. First of 3 between the Rockies and Rangers. It'll be Guzman, Ronald Guzman, the first baseman, to lead off. Harrison Musgrave came on to get the final out in the 6th inning. He struck out Joey Gallo. 8-9-1 to Texas in the 7th. Rangers have lost 6 consecutive games. Their longest win streak this year is a modest 3 games. They haven't seen 500 since they were 1-1.
Well, and from where they're at, too, they're 18 games back in the division. The only other club that's further back in their own division is Baltimore. Baltimore's 27.5 back.
Yeah, there are certain teams you pretty much know are going to be sellers here in the next 2, 4, 6 weeks. I say 2, 4, 6 weeks because you know sometimes it goes down to the very end, but oftentimes guys are moved before then.
Well, we saw Arizona take John Jay. Get John Jay in the trade. How about Houston?
Houston's on a roll now. Seattle's had a marvelous year. We'll see the Mariners shortly. The Angels are a very solid team. So,
kind of reminds me of the National League West last year.
Yep.
The way a lot of clubs are
I think that's a fair and accurate comparison. 1-1 on Guzman. Par in left field. Jose Trevino coming up.
Well, this Father's Day, give Dad the best gift of baseball with MLB.tv. Watch baseball live or on demand on his favorite supported devices. Save 50% now through Father's Day. Blackout and other restrictions may apply, so visit MLB.tv for more details.
Trevino came into the ball game in the second inning after an injury to the starting catcher Carlos Perez. Actually, Robbie Chirinos is truly the starting catcher on most nights. He's been suspended for a game by Major League Baseball. The scuffle he got into with Matt Kemp a couple of days ago. Kemp also got a game. Trevino called up today, his Major League debut, 0 for 2. He pitched down low, 1-2. These two guys potentially matched up this year in the PCL, Round Rock and Albuquerque. And that's the second out. You know what? He wasn't in Round Rock, was he? He was in Frisco, in the Texas League. So scratch that thought.
But he might get a few more days up. I think they'd probably put Perez on the 10-day DL.
With that ankle injury. Shin-Soo Choo, 0 for 2 and a walk. Musgrave with a fastball right down the middle, 0-1. Hey, Spilly, you've seen Shin-Soo Choo up close. This guy's kind of an unheralded player. He's a good player.
Very underrated, and you got to remember back to when he first came up in the big leagues. His first organization was the Seattle Mariners. And think about this outfield. They had Adam Jones, Mike Morse, Shin-Soo Choo, and Vladimir Valentin.
And Musgrave on a roll. He fans Choo there. A 1-2-3, seventh inning. He's gotten all 4 hitters he's faced. We go to the 8th. The Rockies up 8-5. patreon.com/Rockies. 3-run game. The Rockies on the plus side. They trailed 5-0 after 1. Chris Iannetta tonight 0 for 2 in a walk, serving as the DH. Second inning of work for Tony Barnett, I should say. And that's in there for a strike. You know who's up in the Rockies bullpen?
I hope you're going to tell me Adam Ottavino.
There he is. It's 17 days. He was activated yesterday and was down in the bullpen in Philadelphia, but the Rockies never had a need for him, unfortunately. The Rockies fell 9-3. Jerry Vasto is optioned back to Albuquerque to make room. Coincidence or not, when Adam was out, the bullpen ERA soared to over 7.
Yep, 7.29. It had gone before his injury. It was 4.66. And yesterday there was no reason to bring him in. The Rockies were losing that game 3-2. You're not going to bring him in when they're trailing in that ball game. Now you have him saved for when you're ahead.
Noel Cuevas 1 for 3, singled, scored in the Rockies' 6-run second to take the lead. Ground ball to second and a ground ball to third since. Breaking ball fouled off. Noel saw that well.
So programmed to check my lineup in my book to where the pitcher is going to hit. So you wait a second. Noel said you don't have to worry about that, because I was thinking, wait, you know, Harrison, are they going to have to double switch? No, you don't have to worry about it. You made your lineup and just move on.
Much easier game to manage. And a broken bat, a roller to third. Beltre throws out Cuevas, 2 outs. What you may have missed yesterday was the first big league home run for Ryan McMahon. Got a breaking ball over the plate, and he hit it out to dead center field. You get a feel for McMahon's power. And into the shrubs, and he got the baseball back.
That's a good thing. I did say he wished there was a couple other guys on, but you always take that first home run, and he got the baseball. Conrelli, Tiny, went and retrieved it out of the bushes.
Strike 1 on LeMahieu. DJ was robbed of extra bases. He hit a ball 400 feet straight away. Delino DeShields made a leaping catch, crashing into the wall his last time up. DJ and RBI single in the second. Everybody in the Rockies lineup has reached tonight. And you know what's interesting?
What's that?
6 out of the 9 have scored a run. Bouncing ball down the line, fair. And DJ is going to have a very easy double.
Those are the comfortable doubles. You don't have to stride it out. You don't have to worry about pulling anything. But DJ tonight, 2 hits. Beltre takes his glove off.
He's going to throw it at the
acts
baseball.
like he's going to throw his glove at it on the Subaru Supermo. You can't do that.
Well, you can, and
well,
if you do, it's automatically 3 bases.
3 bases.
A walk, a single to drive in a run for Charlie. Comebacker and a ground ball to short. At the bottom of the strike zone, 0-1. 32 RBIs for Blackman. He drove in over 100 last year, setting a new record at the leadoff spot. Even though he's hit 19 of his last 21, it makes sound odd to say this, he still hasn't got really hot yet. And he
not
will.
Charlie Blackman hot.
Yeah, he hasn't got Charlie Blackman hot yet. He did for a little while earlier in the year when he was hitting home runs out on the road. Look out.
But there's a ton of guys that wish they could be as hot as he is right now, hitting 284. I mean, that's just how high the bar has been set by Charlie.
Yeah, 284, 13 home runs, 32 RBIs. Have a whole lot of hands raised for major league players that would take those stats. Seems like all night he's been in a 1-2 count. That's the situation right now against Barnett. Defensive swing. That was Helton-esque. Wasn't it?
It was. And like he waits till the ball is almost in the catcher's glove and then says, not so fast. I got it. I'll foul it off.
On the ground to second. And Kiner Falefa throws him out. DJ left at second. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Rockies 8 and the Rangers 5.
Big Hill. Last time we saw it was May 27th. He had just been so good, all-star worthy, and had been a rock in that bullpen, especially in the 8th inning. And since he's been out, the numbers aren't good for that bullpen. And it's just goes to show you, you take one piece of a puzzle out, kind of like the Jenga game, and it can all come crashing down. The team 5-10 during his team. Bullpen record 1-6, but that ERA is ungodly. 7.29, not a good sight.
And you hope everything now falls right back into place.
Yeah.
That familiar slider, strike one on DeShields. Ottavino and Josh Hader in the National League have been the two premier setup guys this year. Out of this world numbers. Strike two. goes heater away. Fouled off. It was a fastball.
That is the improvement this year too for Adam. The fastball command.
Ottavino is a sight for sore eyes. Right, Julie.
The fastball command, when you're thinking, well, it's going to be a slider for sure.
Like the location of that. Did not induce a swing from Delano. That did. Weak contact. Story gobbles, fires, 1 out.
Well, don't miss your chance to see Def Leppard and Journey perform at Coors Field on Saturday, July 21st. Tickets are still available at rockies.com/concert. Def Leppard and Journey together, Drew.
That'll be a lot of fun. Is that one? Are you going to that one? Are you off?
I'm off. I'm out of town that weekend. Otherwise, I would. You're in Arizona. I know that, so you can't make it.
I missed Zach Brown the last couple of years. I'm still smarting from that. Yerrickson Profar, a 2-run home run in the first, 4-6-3 double play, and robbed of a hit by DJ his last time up. Still laughing at this. The league's hitting .092 this year against Adam Ottavino in 28 2/3.
And another stat that I saw, and sometimes how stats are misleading, that his chase percentage isn't very high. It was like in the bottom 10 in baseball. I'm like, well, how does that translate? Well, what it tells me is guys aren't swinging at it. they just get locked up. They freeze.
That's why some of the new metrics are very telling, can be revealing, can be useful in terms of getting an idea of who a player is. And sometimes some of the numbers can be very misleading. 2-2.
Brad Ann was just a pitcher of the month in May. Reliever of the month, I should say.
Ottavino, and there's Josh Hader on that list.
Safe to say those 5 guys aren't fun to face.
No, that's a good group. 3-2.
Yeah, so Adam has the second lowest chase percentage.
Well, okay.
Yeah, that.
He's in the zone. It's pretty nasty. He can't hit it.
Can't hit it.
1-out walk to Profar, and that'll bring up Beltre, who's had 2 infield hits tonight. Beltre's 10 for his last 13 at the plate.
2 scratch hits today.
He literally had a check swing single his first time up, and then a swinging bunt in the 6th inning. Slider for a strike.
Speaking of bunts, could you say a swinging bunt? Adrian Beltre has never had a bunt base hit in over 10,700 at bats.
And he never will.
No. So the only other 2 other guys that hasn't happened to are with Al Kaline and Frank Robinson. Other 2 guys with over 10,000 at bats,
right?
And 0 bunt base hits.
3 guys you want swinging the bat in any situation. 2 Hall of Famers and a future Hall of Famer. That's right at the top of the zone, not called a strike. Beltre, kind of rare out of a closed stance. Two and two.
Yeah, most guys will stand open and then they'll go closed. We saw Stanton change that a couple years ago. But he hasn't deviated from that setup in his career.
I thought he was going to have another check swing hit.
That's just
Or
foul
not
ball.
hit, maybe you just got it in play, the check swing, the foul ball. Tough at bat, especially for a right-handed hitter. You have such dramatic movement on the 3 different sliders he throws, some have more depth than the other. And then that fastball in the mid-90s works hard back at a right-handed hitter and down.
So I think you just got to guess one pitch and hope you get it if you're the hitter.
He didn't swing at that. It's 3 and 2 now. Rougned Odor on deck. Profar takes off, and this hits Beltre. So now they're 2 on. And Odor's coming up.
Get Bud on the phone and
Designated hitter, Rougned Odor.
see if this was it's supposed to be a slider. It just came out of the hand wrong for Adam. And you hope when somebody comes off the DEL, who did go down on a rehab, which I'm totally fine with, that the toughest part for a pitcher, though, is going to be the feel of the pitches, the fine tuning of the pitches.
Wade's been off for a few days, so there is the possibility
A 4-out.
you get a multi-out save. When I say multi-out, above a 1-inning save. That just missed. 1-0 on Odor. Odor tonight, a walk and 2 strikeouts. Sliders in there, 1-1. Good pitch.
Really good. That was a hit side fastball. We got Odor to think it was going to be a ball inside. He starts to jump back, lift the hands up, and catches the corner.
Make another pitch here. 2 on, 1 out. And he got him with a fastball upstairs. 2 outs.
Kind of went all over the map to Rugnet. Second pitch was an inside fastball, hip side. This is a running fastball away from him. Got him thinking inside and then didn't stand a chance away. Now you got the rookie right where you want him.
Isaiah Kiner Falefa. 1 for 3 tonight. Slider, strike 1 on the outer edge. That was not where he wanted to locate it, but it touched the zone. And it's 0-2.
Well, sometimes you get away with a pitch because your other one was so good, and that time he did. They thought it was inside. Now finish him off. Just yank that one.
1-2. And again, he missed with the fastball. 2-2.
It's part of the feel. You do the sim games. You can throw to hitters, and physically you're ready. Nothing wrong with the side, but it's the feel of the pitches and then the extra adrenaline. You're in a major league game.
Got him on a slider. Well, he got some of the rust off after being inactive for the better part of 3 weeks, and he works out of a little situation, gets a couple of strikeouts in the process. Great to have Adam Ottavino back. 3-run lead for the Rockies. In the game so far tonight. And Brandon Mann will be the new pitcher for the Rangers here in the top of the 9th inning with the Rockies ahead 8-5. As Jenny and Corey were just discussing, the Rockies found themselves down 5-0 after 1 inning of play. Not a problem. They scored 6 in the top of the 2nd. And Chad Bettis really settled in. Harrison Musgrave, an inning and a third of perfect relief. Adam Ottavino back involved.
That's what you like, some offense. Get your bullpen back in order. Keep the lead once you get it. The pitcher for the Rangers, Brandon Mann, just recalled today. Second time he's been up with Texas this year.
It's high. Two balls and a strike on Nolan. That's fouled into the second deck. Tony Barnett went 2 innings, allowed a run on 3 hits. Nolan's been on 3 times tonight.
After the strikeout in the first inning, he had the double, then he had a walk to follow it up, another double.
Brandon Mann's been around. He was originally a 27th round pick in Tampa back in 2002.
Make his debut with the Rangers till he was 33 years of age. Not quite Jim Morris age, you know, with the rookie.
With the rookie, but that's perseverance. This ball's in the air to left center field. This is really well hit, and it is gonna get on out of here. A home run for Nolan. So he's officially back now. That is his 13th of the year. 3 extra base hit night for Nolan, who began the evening in a career worst 0 for 18 funk. I think that slump has been put to bed.
And for Nolan now, 13 home runs. That gives him a nice tidy 40 RBIs on the year. I was watching the center fielder DeShields, and he kept going, thinking, well, he robbed DJ of a hit this time. No, he can't rob Nolan. DeShields is a human battering ram out there into the wall. If he tried to climb it.
First home run for Nolan since June the 1st. That came against the Dodgers. 9-5 Colorado. Trevor's had a nice ball game.
Yes, he has.
Single to drive in a run.
That was in that second inning, and then in the 7th, after Nolan had led off with the double, he doubles him home. 2 hits, 2 RBIs. Gives him 52 RBIs on the year.
Two strikes. Trevor Story and Nolan Arenado tearing the cover off the ball against lefties in particular. They're slouch against righties. And the Rockies will see another lefty tomorrow in Mike Minor.
Not only hitting him, but hitting him with power. Nolan 674 slugging against lefties. Trevor 636.
2 and 3 in the league. Scott Oberg is on DL.
Hold on, wait, keep that shot there for a second. What is that in the background?
It's a friend.
It's a Nolan Arenado doll. It is.
I'm sorry, I just caught that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he's got his eye black on. He's got his flip downs. He's ready to go. I'm going to interview him after the game.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah. Looks pretty stoic, though.
He's ready.
And a line drive. That's gloved, though, by Kiner Falefa. 1 out.
Well, fans still looking for the perfect spot to hold your company picnic? Ask about the Rockies pregame picnic areas with a variety of options for any budget. Call 303 Rockies today. I'm still laughing at that doll.
Looks like a voodoo doll.
A little creepy, I'm not going to lie. A little creepy.
Here's the deal. You know it's going to be back tomorrow.
Hey, whatever works, Drew.
That's right.
Whatever works. Well, it's usually a good thing after Nolan has a day off, though. He usually comes out raking. I know he told Spill he's not a big fan of taking a day off, but sometimes it works to your benefit.
Desmond taking a swing there like he's trying to hit a third jack tonight. 2 home runs tonight for Ian Desmond. Solo shot in the second, solo shot leading off the 5th.
Fifth time in his career, he's had multi-home runs.
And you know, it was such a rough beginning for Ian. Actually, the first week of the season, he really swung the bat well, but then after that, well chronicled. Ian, with that last home run, he's got the average to 200. And he's going to start building now toward a much higher figure, because in his career, he's been close to a 270 lifetime hitter. And when you've been around as long as Desi has, I always say this, and you know it to be true, you and Spilly both know it to be true, water finds its level.
And he's tied right now with Trevor for the team lead in home runs with 14. He's third on the team.
Got 2 guys with 13, Nolan and Charlie.
Excuse me, tied for second now on the team in RBIs with Nolan. They both have 39.
Murphy has a hit tonight. He's 1 for 4. Line to center his last time up. Rockies have 13 hits tonight, 9 runs after producing only 3 hits yesterday.
And the Rangers have 6 hits, but they had 4 hits in that first inning.
Three-homer night for the Rockies. I like that. This ball is high in the air to left and curving out of play. One out, a run in, Desmond at first. And this is on the ground at third. Beltre, good feed, and it's a double play around the horn. Rockies make it 9-5. Nolan Arenado with his 13th of the year. 3 RBI night for Arenado. Rockies in search of 3 more outs. the ninth. It was a tough start. A 5-run first allowed by Chad Bettis. That home run for Profar went 427 feet. But then Chad settled in. At one point, he retired 10 in a row. And he ends up pitching deep into the 6th inning. And he has a chance for another victory, which would improve his record to 5-1. He's persevered tonight. Wade Davis is on in the bottom of the 9th inning. He'll face Joey Gallo, Ronald Guzman, and Jose Trevino. Those are the scheduled 3. Non-save situation. Wade is 20 out of 23 in those situations.
20 saves, leads the National League. 87% for that save percentage.
Gallo tonight, a 2-run home run, also in the 1st inning. Almost a dead center field against Chad. 2 strikeouts. Davis, curveball, inside, ball 1.
I said Wade leads, he's 2nd. Brad Hand overtook him. He has 21 saves in San Diego.
It's
been over a week that since the last time Wade's been out on the mound.
And he immediately falls behind 3-0. Here's the 3-1 to Gallo, and that's not close. We told you Mike Minor is going to start tomorrow for the Rangers. What we did not tell you is that Kyle Freeland will start for the Rockies. It'll be the 14th start for Freeland. You know he has been pitching wonderful baseball, almost a 3-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Pre-game show 2:30 in the Mountain Time Zone tomorrow. Cutter in, ball 1 on Guzman. Let's correct something. That pregame show tomorrow will be on the air in the Mountain Time Zone at 1:30. It's a 3 o'clock local game time. So our pregame show a half hour before, so it'll be 1:30 in the Mountain Time Zone.
Got it.
The ball game at 2 o'clock back home. And is this going to be available for 2? There's 1, and
wow.
There's 2. What a
wow.
double play that was.
Amazing.
Well, we've seen Story on offense. You want to see Story around the bag on defense? This was a terrific turn. DJ started it.
Wow. Well, first, look at how far DJ is pulled over, and he has to range to his right, gives a good feed to Trevor, and then the spin throw. So good feed from DJ. Wade likes it. Yeah, that's 69 double plays the Rockies have turned on the year.
Remember we were discussing it earlier, picking up on a conversation Buddy Black was having, that and all the pitchers are on board. But let guys hit the ball on the ground, especially. Try to get it on the ground, because you can get a lot of outs.
Oh,
and some outs you don't expect.
No, I think you're expecting, okay, I'll get 1 out here. I'll get that lead runner, but then Trevor with an absolute laser to first, and you get Guzman, who was just hitting from the left side.
Trevino takes outside. 2 balls and a strike. Off the bat, Guzman in his head You've been there a million times. You're thinking
Hit.
that may be a hit.
Hit.
That may find its way through. Then you're thinking,
Yeah,
all right,
okay.
well, all right.
It's not going to be a hit, but I'll be at first. No, you're not.
And this should end it. Popped up on the right side. Desmond calling for it, and the former Ranger puts it away. The former Ranger hit 2 home runs tonight. The Rockies overcome an early 5-run deficit, and they win going away 9-5. A complete victory, as it turns out, for Colorado. Nolan got out of his mini funk. He had 2 doubles and a home run. And the Rockies send the Rangers to their 7th consecutive loss. Great way to begin this series here in the heart of Texas. The Rockies win it